the novels, see, Harry, which was done for the 11 and 12-year-olds, is a kind of children's introduction to philosophy. When I was a student in college, I had read a book called The Story of Philosophy by Will Durant, and probably it's known all over the world as an easy introduction to philosophy. Everybody knows the story of philosophy. And so I thought, yes, this is right, but it shouldn't just be a sort of comfortable version of philosophy in a professorial way. It should be a real children's story introducing them to philosophy. And so I tried to, in Harry, to introduce them not just to logical reasoning, but to philosophy of science and philosophy of art and philosophy of religion and philosophy of education, and to make it an all-round introduction to philosophy. But then I had the feeling, as I said before, that I should go to the children of older children and show what the consequences would be of applying philosophy in these later ages. So the first thing that I tried to do was to show how the reasoning that they had learned with Harry could be used to deal with ethical issues and could provide them with tools for dealing with moral problems and for settling moral difficulties that they were having. I then tried to, and that was for grades 7 and 8, in other words, for children of 13 or 14 years of age. And I then said, well, why not try a different area? Try writing, especially the writing of poetry, and see whether philosophy would help them with their writing problems. I chose a particular kind of writing to concentrate on, the writing of poetry, because poetry is a kind of thinking. It's a kind of collapsed thinking that's not spelled out in large sentences and so forth. It's very compressed, but it's very powerful. And it has a number of interesting resemblances to philosophical thinking, contrasts and resemblances. And so I did a book called Suki, which dealt with creativity and reasoning in language. That seemed promising, so I moved ahead to the middle of the secondary school and did another novel called Mark, dealing with social studies. And here I tried to involve children by showing them children who are fictional children who are involved in philosophy. I tried to interest the real children in the classroom in discussing such concepts as freedom and democracy and justice. So these remain programs that are available to be used in the secondary school and junior high school. But then going back, as I said before, I decided that it was necessary to go back to earlier levels of elementary school. I asked myself, what does a child need to bring with him or her in order to do Harry well? And that meant doing a program for fourth graders, for children of 8 or 9 years old. And it seemed to me that we ought to introduce children to language, to problems of language, and to problems of figurative language, figures of speech, metaphors, similes, and so forth, and show them how these involve reasoning in the use of certain kinds of linguistic expressions. Another book was done involving thinking skills at the same age, especially scientific thinking skills. And finally, I developed a program just for first and second grade. And this is a program that introduces children to all of the later developments. It's a foundational program that introduces them to ethical problems and to some scientific problems and to linguistic problems and so on. And it gives them a foretaste of what is to come in the later programs. Mm-hmm.